Hello everyone and welcome to the 8th episode of the Heavensward Dungeon Lore series. In this series, I hope to explain things you might not know about Final Fantasy XIV dungeons, as well as discuss their individual stories and lore. This episode's dungeon is the Fractal Continuum. As the mysteries of the facilities in Azizlar begins to unravel, the crew exploring the Allagan Islands investigate many of the untouched buildings to discover their secrets. Amongst them towards the Southern Isles lies the Fractal Continuum, an enormous storehouse for many of the marvels created in Azizlar. The Warrior of Light visits Noshoshamp in Foundation, who awaits with a message from an old friend, revealed to be Wedge. He asks that we return to the Etherochemical Research Facility post-haste, and that it is a matter of utmost secrecy. We meet our Lullafell companion standing right beside where our assistance node, codenamed Gilly, gave its last advice before shutting down, leaving its body deactivated. Wedge is outraged at the node's fate, giving an empowered speech on how we as a unit won't stand for this fate, and decides that we should find a new nacelle for Gilly to transfer her memories and mind into to carry on her journey. Wedge even has the perfect place to find such a thing, the Fractal Continuum, the old warship-turned-museum used for housing a myriad of creations of old Allag. We head off towards a previously unused teleporter towards the southern part of Azizlar, where upon interacting with the terminal, it informs us that the Fractal Continuum is temporarily closed to visitors. As unauthorized visitors, it warns us as we move to activate the terminal that we likely face removal by force via the intruder defense system, as we move to rescue our helpful friend. As we enter the facility, the gate immediately in front of us appears closed off, so we turn right and use the Allagan teleporter to arrive at the History Gallery section. With a huge structure emanating magics visible between the walls, we find a guide panel which tells us that the following area showcases creations used to give the Allagan people much easier and more efficient day-to-day lives. The room contains several automatons, presumably used for heavy lifting and construction work, given the heavy appendages of each. The next guide panel tells us that the adjacent room holds creations made for war, to ensure that rather than the Allagan people shed their blood, the machines instead would fight in their place. Interestingly, the room's occupants are mannequin versions of skilled fighters, with conjurers, marauders and pugilists all ready to step into battle. The third and final guide panel asks that we feast our eyes upon the Phantom Ray, a wonderful creation used primarily to keep other chimerical creations in check, dispatching them if necessary. After this, we continue into the room, where the Phantom Ray is released from its display, revealing a creature wielding a sword for each of its 4 arms. During the fight, the creature uses its blades, as well as its inbuilt powers, to attack the party. Rapid Sever slices apart the tanking party member, and atmospheric displacement hits the entire group. The creature also uses Double Sever to attack behind and in front of itself, followed by its flank in turn. The creature gets steadily more powerful during the battle, so the party must ensure a swift victory. After the ray falls, we can proceed to the next teleporter, which takes us to the Soldiery Gallery. An information panel nearby tells us of the Mirror Knights in the nearby displays, informing of how, like many early attempts, the creations lacked intelligence along with having a taste for violence, and so were deemed unpractical for use. In the following large room, we find a handful of creatures that seem to have escaped from the nearby displays, after which a second information panel explains of the Shabti, the large axe-wielding creatures, similar to those fought in the Etherochemical Research Facility, as well as in the Fractal Continuum itself. We learn that the creature retained high intelligence, as well as immense regeneration capabilities, and was deemed a breakthrough development by the researchers. As we move along the corridor, about half of the displays burst forth from their incubators, attacking the party. The next information panel shows the Allag's attempts to create a Naga, a replication of a Voidsent creature of the same name. The panel explains that void magic is still an emerging field of research, but that the future holds great promise for development. The last panel shows off the Ixalian, an extremely intelligent creation used by engineers for maintenance tasks. We also learn that the creature has minor genetic instabilities. We return through the same large room on the other side of the rubble, where a few more creatures, including a chimera, burst from their pods and attack, after which we reach the high-level incubation bay, where the Minotaur awaits. During this fight, the Minotaur unleashes abilities familiar to the party, using its large weapon to swing, swipe and slash at the party with dangerous ferocity. When injured, the creature begins to wind up for a 1,111-ton swing, which can only be interrupted using the nearby incubators. One of the creatures inside must be released to lure the Minotaur in, but in turn, the bait creature must be defeated, or the Minotaur will consume it, greatly restoring its strength. It's worth noting that this creature may not be originally of the Fractal Continuum's displays, as it seems odd that the Alligans would allow a creature that consumes the other creations to run amok. Upon defeat, the Minotaur falls and we can proceed to the final area on our tour of the place. We take the teleporter back to the first area we came across, where the barrier blocking the way deactivates. In this vast area, the security deck, we must deactivate the 3 wards blocking access to the central area by defeating the many guards stationed at each control unit. Using the nearby teleporters to launch to the other platform, we deactivate each lock in turn until revealing the central platform, where quite literally, the curator of the museum awaits. The curator, an odd creature with a mix of bird wings, a long tail, 4 legs and human-like face, appears upon the platform and prepares to defend the elegant secrets from the party. During the fight, the creature uses the reality augmentation bay to call forth creatures to its aid, using the divided floor as tiles to enhance its attacks. The clockwork alarms slowly walk across the floor in a line, causing any of the tiles they reach to become dangerous, triggering an explosion if stepped on. The curator itself uses the same ability but in straight lines from itself, again causing the tiles to become dangerous. The curator also lays several landmines on tiles, blasting and knocking back any who stand near them. Finally, the creature places an etherochemical explosive upon a party member, causing them to intermittently explode and knock back any unlucky enough to be nearby. Upon defeat, the creature cries out and falls, clearing the way to the node nacelles for Gilly. We return to Wedge with a node in hand, and we begin the process of transferring Gilly's mind to the new body. Gilly successfully reinitializes and greets us as though no time had passed, while Wedge is full of joy for the return of his friend. Gilly thanks Wedge for the new body, and Wedge in turn speaks to us for a favour. He asks that rather than Gilly remain an assistance node forever wandering as Azlar, she instead should join us on our journey, as an accompaniment node to travel the world, to go where her kind has not gone before. We receive Gilly as a new companion, and pledge to take her with us wherever we go. And that's the end of the story and lore of the Fractal Continuum. A plethora of galleries housing some of the early to late made Allagan creations, with many of the creatures being more alive than ideally hoped. Gilly, on the other hand, stands renewed in a new, smaller body, ready to take on the world at our side. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more Final Fantasy XIV lore, and I'll see you next time for St. Mokian's Arboretum.